Hello, hello, everybody. We are back.
Good
I am
afternoon. Happy
Stacey. Oh, I'm
Sunday.
Stacey. I'm Shakara. That's Stacey, y'all.
Hello.
And we have a special guest, Mr. Anthony Cain.
What's
Hi.
up? What's up?
All the way from Detroit, Michigan.
Yes, I'm in the big D.
Woo-hoo. Look at
Well,
What
this
that.
show
Detroit?
is going to be a little different, y'all, because as you see, we have a guest. And we're going to be talking about something that's kind of serious, which is HIV and AIDS. Um, This stuff ain't playing, y'all. It's growing, and we ain't Magic Johnson. So we need to know as much as we need to know, get as much information as we can about it to see how we can prevent it, how we can help and support others that have it, and talk to our kids about it. So we have Mr. Anthony Cain here, who works in the public health sector. He is speaking from his opinions, his views, and not any agency that he is working for, working with, or standing next to. This is all his views. So don't come for this man here for giving us information, okay? But Mr. Kane, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, good afternoon, almost evening. I'm in Detroit. As we say in Detroit, what up, though? We don't say hey, we say what up, though.
Oh,
What up, though? So I've been in public health. I'm a public health consultant. I've been in public health for 24 years, I think. So the gist of what I do or what public health department I'm in, it is around HIV and STI, which is STD. So what we do is make sure we get people into care, educate, test, try to get partners' names to offer them the opportunity to get tested and start treatment early, as well as just overall with doctors and providers with on the STI component, make sure that they're getting the people the accurate treatment. So that's pretty much the gist of what I do.
Mm. And how
okay.
did you get into that?
It was by accident.
All
I
the
was a
lessons.
I was a counselor at a juvenile facility, and a gentleman that was kind of tended to the youth had told me about a job, and I applied. So fortunate, this was the job. I knew nothing about it. They hired me, and I'm 24 years in.
All right. That's what's up. That's
Yes,
what's
I love
up.
you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, doing this every day, Anthony, what is I mean, like when people come in, I'm gonna take it like I'm gonna shift a little bit. When people come in and they have to find out, is there any like emotion with that with you, or do you have emotion for the people that come in, or do you just kind of be like,
Who you saying, for me or both?
for well, I know they have emotion. I'm saying, like,
Right.
what are your emotions when people come in and have to, be seen?
Yeah, fortunately, we don't have a lot that test positive, but for those who do for HIV, yeah, it's tough. And even when I get the ones who are positive cases, reaching out to those individuals, I only do about 2 or 3 a day. I can't do too many because it can be emotional draining. However, being in this for so long and seeing the progression, I try to convey to them that this is not a death sentence. It is not like it used to be. They have tons of treatment out, and it is very, very manageable, just like similar to diabetes, things of that nature. It's much more manageable. They've got it down to one pill a day. You go on about your business, keep living, keep enjoying life.
Oh
Really?
wow. Okay.
Wow. So it's not a
Ooh.
cocktail anymore. So I was doing some digging, I was doing some research, and by research I mean Google. Um, it's heart therapy. Is it HAART therapy? So it's now one pill, or
In
is it
most cases, yeah, in most cases. So their heart is the antiretroviral therapy. So that's what that is. That's the medications to treat for HIV. And so they do have, people who are on multiple tablets or multiple pills. But of late, the last 5, 6, 7 years, they've tried to combine those medicines into one pill, like a multivitamin, so to speak, so they
Mm-hmm.
don't have to take as many. Because there are people who have reactions to swallowing so many pills all the time. So they've
Yeah.
tried to make that a little bit better for those who have to take those meds.
Oh,
Wow. Now, being that you're in Detroit, Michigan, what are the stats in your area for like, race, gender, age? What are the stats that you have there?
So Michigan, we have about a little over 18,000 people living with HIV in our state, and
Mm-hmm.
about 11,000 plus are in Detroit, Michigan. So
Oh,
Detroit is the epicenter of HIV in our state. And that is because it's the most populated city. So we're the largest city in the state. So you got more people, more activities, more nuances, people born with it, people who get contracted from sex workers. You have IV drug users, things of that nature. You got homeless population. You have mental health. You have abuse. You have those who struggling with their sexual identity. Sometimes they get put out the house and they have no income. So they may go on the stroll, if you will, to make money. And unfortunately, they can get infected that way. So it's many, many nuances to HIV.
wow. Mm.
And you had mentioned about the race. Well, of course, Detroit is majority black, so
Mhm.
quite naturally, more black people have it. It's just about running nationwide with those same data. I did pull up some, so some Hispanic communities are a little more infected than blacks, but they're not too far. They're running neck and neck, as
Mm.
well as with transgender MSM. And when we say MSM, we're being political correct, but it's
Mhm.
called men who have sex with men. So that
Mhm.
population as well. And we see a little increase with the elderly, the senior population. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that can be because the message for condoms is not so prevalent in that area or that age bracket
Mhm.
because condoms have been associated with preventing babies. So in the 60s, late 50s, you're not thinking about pregnancy for the most part.
yeah.
Mhm. And when you say the
So
elderly,
they
would that be like nursing home, like nursing facilities, assisted living care facilities, or just in the neighborhood, just elderly people getting their groove on?
absolutely. It's not necessarily the facilities. You may have some facilities for those
Mhm.
who got infected long term with HIV and it start to cause more decline. But overall, it's the ones who are more out and doing their thing 50, 55, 60, 61, 70. I did test a gentleman many years ago who was about 70, 71, and unfortunately, he was positive. So you just never know.
Oh, so there is life after 60. Now, Shakara, I know you pulled up some stats in other cities and states as well. Would you like to
Yes.
give us those?
Yes, I was looking. It says that Georgia, Florida, and Louisiana are amongst the highest in new diagnoses, and that's as of 2023. And so, just thinking back, hold, I'm so sorry, y'all. I need you to go back in there. Your mama don't know you in here. Okay, I'm sorry. The grandbabies. But yes, and then what was I saying? Oh, Georgia, Florida, and Louisiana are amongst the highest in new diagnosis, and that was as of 2023. So Mr. Anthony was explaining to me earlier that the stats are behind in years because it does take. After I think about it, it does take time to collect data. So I can only imagine what it is now because being here in Hot Atlanta, everybody dating everybody, everybody just free and fluid. Ooh.
I'm glad I stay in the house. I don't have the issues. Okay.
And look, I'm so glad I am married. Yes.
Look, not even on the scene.
Uh, but it's crazy in Atlanta because it says in Metro Atlanta there are 40,931 people currently living with AIDS and HIV and AIDS. They actually put a slash between it. So I'm like, why is it that on some stats, so I guess this is the question for you. Why is it that on some stats they separate HIV and AIDS, and then on certain ones, like this actually comes from Atlanta Journal Constitution, their last
Mm.
thing. It says HIV slash AIDS because they're two totally different things, correct?
Correct. So what I think they're doing, they're kind of grouping the two together. So
Mhm.
that's a good starting point. We need a working definition or a kind of contrast how HIV came about and where we are today. So we know from historically, roughly around in 81, 82, somewhere thereabouts, the medical community in the United States started seeing some conditions that they
Mhm.
hadn't seen before, and
Mhm.
on further investigation, that's when they decided that it was immunovirus taking place with humans and certain population. But
Mhm.
there has been some record of people having this virus in the 50s. They've collected some specimens from people who died in the 50s. They was not aware, the 1950s,
Mhm.
was not aware of what caused the death. So they held onto some of those samples, and then they were able to run the test. And upon knowledge what we have today, they could
Mhm.
exhibit it to that. So that's
Mm.
given a historical. Also, they say that it came from Africa, from bush meat, from the monkeys, things of that nature. It may or may not be true. Female circumcision in Africa, also male circumcision and female mutilation. They're still going on today in Africa as well as India and other parts of the world. And that's why
Mhm.
you see higher, can be one of the reasons why you see higher prevalence of HIV in those countries. So, HIV is human immunodeficiency virus.
Mm.
AIDS, which they really, the CDC kind of removed that language, AIDS, it's stigmatizing. So
Mhm.
they just say people living with HIV.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Ooh.
it's kind of a play or
Mhm.
advanced stages of HIV as
Okay.
opposed to saying AIDS, because some people will get, I cannot take an AIDS test or I caught AIDS. You cannot catch AIDS, you cannot test for AIDS. You can test for HIV, you can
Mhm.
catch HIV. So that's the distinguishing. Having
Oh,
HIV over a period of time can cause the advancement, what we say as AIDS,
Hey,
or
okay.
advanced stages of HIV. So the
mhm.
importance to note for a doctor, and only a doctor can diagnose you with AIDS or the last advanced stages of HIV, and that's on a uh, couple of uh, prerequisites. Number one, you have to be HIV positive, and
Mhm.
your T cell count or your CD4 cells, they drop down to 200 or below, and
Mhm.
you have one or more opportunistic infections. So, opportunistic infections, that's what I had mentioned earlier about what doctors were seeing going on in the 80s. This is
Mhm.
a specific set of illnesses that they know come from having HIV. So, if you're HIV positive and you're starting to have those illnesses, that's when the doctor and only a doctor can diagnose you with AIDS or advanced stages of HIV.
Wow.
Mhm.
Woo. Now, let me ask you this, Mr. Kane. How long will HIV lie dormant before a person knows that they have it? Or, I mean, will they know like right away, or they have it 2 years, 10 years? What's the year arranged for that? Because I know
So
it lie dormant.
yeah, so in the beginning, that's was what they thought was happening, and part of it was because they didn't necessarily have the sophisticated technology or ability to test.
Hmm.
They
Mhm.
didn't quite know what they were looking for. So
Mhm.
that being said, since we got advanced testing,
Hmm.
there are people who never get sick from HIV. There are people who've never taken any medicine. There are people who don't know their status. So
Mhm.
that's just par for the course. And I can't tell you exactly why that happens. We don't know. There are some people whose immune system are better than others. There are some people's immune system can fight it off where it never advances, and as well as depending on what particular strand you might have gotten exposed to, it's a thing called a mutant strand. So we
Mhm.
know what a mutant is. Remember Teenage Mutant Turtles? So
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
mutant means it hasn't quite developed.
Mm-hmm.
It exists, but just got stopped in its growth process. So it was able to transmit, but it wasn't able to do anything
Really?
else.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that would be considered a blessing, would it not?
Oh, absolutely. There are those, again, who have never been sick, never been on any kind of therapies, and they've been positive for decades.
Wow.
Oh my
Ooh, they
God.
got a story to tell.
They don't even know they got a story though. They don't even know there's a story. They don't
Wow.
even know they have it. They're not
Mhm.
getting sick.
It's
I mean,
possible.
so like regular is it like the best advice you would give would be like testing regularly to make sure that your doctor them test you, to make sure that you haven't maybe contracted it, or will the test show or will the test not show? I mean, how does that work?
The test will definitely show because, again, because of the sophistication of technology and knowledge about HIV, they're able to detect it at an earlier base. But sexual health, so if you're sexually active, it's always good to get tested for STIs, even if you're married, engaged, or committed to one person's or whatever. Those are minimum risks. But anytime you're sexually active, there is a risk, period, flat out.
Hmm.
So for those who are at a high risk, for those who engage with prostitution, bisex, trade sex for drugs or money, things, homelessness, things of that nature. But I don't want to put it out there that just because someone is homeless, that
Right,
they're doing that particular behavior. That's
right.
not
That's
necessarily
not
so.
right,
Yeah.
Right. So just kind of keep that in mind. So
right.
that being said, the testing can pick it up, and then your doctor can proceed with what the next steps would be. So testing is not a prevention; it just lets you know where you are. That's it.
Mhm.
It's a
So,
And
baseline.
speaking of
I know, I know,
prevention,
I know when it first started in the early like 80, 81, 82, everybody wanted to, how the scientists, whatever, everybody wanted to say, okay, this is a gay thing, or well, now we have to say LGBTQ.
A
So
plus.
can we say that that's still the statistics in there communities, or is it like widespread? Like we just can't limit it to just the LGBTQ. We have to say everybody playing a part in this.
Well, everybody does play a part, or everyone does play a part, but we can only go by what the data, how to interpret the data. So
Mhm.
the data still shows that LGBT community still has, especially with men, still
Mhm.
has a high prevalence.
Oh
Mhm.
wow. Okay.
And I was reading one of the stats that said a lot of times, it was think it was over 55% of the time when heterosexual women contracted is because they are with men who, you used the word earlier, is it MSM? They're not gay. They say they're not gay. So they
No, they're
contracted.
just greedy. They just greedy.
I like that word. They just greedy.
They just
So they're
greedy.
with greedy men, and they contracted that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Well,
like,
now
okay,
being the man on the panel, I'm not gonna let y'all dog us out. So
Oh,
people
I
okay.
do
know.
what people do. Women do what women do. Men do what men do.
Yeah, that's true. But you have more of the down low brothers, men, down low men who live in a double life and don't want to just, and be like, hey, look, this is what I do. They want to still be in denial. And that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is can be, but it's hard to really pinpoint
Point.
because again, HIV has many nuances, And
Mhm.
it's wrong to just think because of a sexual orientation is
Mm-hmm.
automatic. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right. I got
Because people have been having sex with people ever since we've been here. Period.
right. Period.
That's just how it
Now, okay,
goes.
so with HIV, who's the care? I mean, who's the? I guess the transmitter. I mean, who would be the one to get it from A to B, or can it be a woman give it to a man, or a man give it to a woman? Who's the
What
heavy hitter?
Well, it's both because, and that's a good point. So we need to find out or identify how it's transmitted and where it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
HIV is in blood,
Mm-hmm.
semen, vaginal secretion, and breast milk. So contact with those bodily fluids is how you get infected. So if you're having sex with someone who is infected and you come across those bodily fluids and they get inside of your body, that's how you get it. Now, if you injecting drugs, then
Mm-hmm.
sharing needles, then that is a possibility. Mother can pass it to child if she's
Mm-hmm.
breastfeeding and not aware that she's
Oh.
positive, or she's not being compliant with her antiretroviral therapies. Because the
Mhm.
data have shown that if a pregnant female, when if she gets tested and knows she's positive and she starts those therapies, she can prevent that baby from coming out and getting infected. So what they'll do is they'll start the mother on treatment, and
Mm-hmm.
they will start the baby on treatment once he or she is born, and then they run tests afterwards to see when the baby's blood become its own, and then if it does not show any HIV in the body, they will take the baby off those therapies,
Oh
but they
wow.
will still test periodically.
Mhm.
Oh Lord, breast milk. Oh my God.
Now you bringing that up brings me back to this episode of Girlfriends. I'm gonna go find the season, but there was this episode where a college friend of theirs came into Joan's house
Mm-hmm.
for the weekend, and they were having a good old time, and she's let it slip that she had HIV, and everybody started acting weird. But then,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of got over it. Well, she was putting up dishes in the dishwasher, and a knife cut her finger, and she
Mm-hmm.
started bleeding. And
Mm-hmm.
Joan, she didn't panic, but she took the knife and she threw it in the trash. And it made, I think that was the first time it really dawned to me. And I think I was in high school when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how does this HIV AIDS thing work? And then I learned then, or she explained then, that it's when it's airborne or when it touches air, air kills the virus. So they don't have to worry about getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I watched Girlfriends again over the years, over and over again. And that always stuck, but I never had anybody to go and ask that question to. I guess I never put two and two together. So, as an expert, is that accurate? Is that something? When it's airborne, the air actually kills the virus.
Tell me about this boyfriend of yours.
Why? So you can steal him too?
Well, that depends. Are you secretly engaged?
Okay, I've grown, but I am not in a laughing place yet.
Oh, girl, please, we've been laughing. I mean, really, Joan, who did you think was going to be dumb enough to fall for a secret engagement?
Says the woman who fell for the invisible condom.
I love Jabari. He is a miracle to me. Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Oh, my God. You guys, it's okay. See, I just get a trash can, toss the vegetables, toss the cutting board, then we torch the whole kitchen. I'm just kidding. Come on, you guys. I feel awkward enough as it is. Well, can someone at least get me a Band-Aid?
I'm sorry, Reese. Look, I'm here for you, okay?
Reese, hold your finger above your head. Todd taught me that. He's a doctor. Girl, I tell you I was marrying a doctor.
Tony, not about you right now.
What?
So, I guess we should do something with this.
Don't touch that. Don't.
Joan, stop tripping. Nobody's gonna get infected here, okay?
Just throw the knife away, too.
You don't have to throw it away. Just wash it.
No, it's okay. It's an old knife. Just throw it away.
Look, you can check with the CDC or the APLA. Once the virus hits the air, it's dead. Hey, if it makes you feel better, you can run it through the dishwasher.
So we
Well,
don't have
I'm
to.
not sure. I'm not sure if it's airborne that or air kills the virus, but what we know is the virus can't live without a host. So an
Mm,
inanimate object
mhm,
is not a host.
Got
mhm.
it.
So it will die at some point.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
I
being
remember that
said,
episode. It was that actress, not Kimberly Elise, but the other Kimberly that played in
Yes.
yeah, that Tyler Perry. Yeah, yeah. She's a
Mhm.
great actress. I wonder why she didn't ever
I,
get more
I think
roles.
it was Kimberly Elise.
No, it
It was
wasn't
I think
it
it,
wasn't Kimberly Elise. Kimberly Elise is the one that's from Memphis. Was it Kim?
and
Okay,
that's
you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're
Kimberly.
right. It was
I'm a
yeah.
Kimberly.
You
friend.
talking about the one that was on All of Us and the D.L. Hughley
Her
from
name is
Memphis.
Yes.
what was her name?
That's
Elise
Kimberly.
Elise Neal?
Elise Neal, yeah, she's
Elise
a
Neal.
pretty,
Okay,
yeah,
so
pretty
Kim.
lady,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Kim. Yeah, the pretty. So yeah, Kimberly Elise. She really should have got more acting scenes. I mean, really in Hollywood. I don't understand that, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
like
Okay,
that.
yeah, I remember that scene when she was cutting and it did cut and everybody jumped back running and you know what I'm saying. And she was like, "I'm just gonna put it in just." And she told him just run it through the washing machine. And
Mhm.
Joan was like, "No, no, I could just throw it in the garbage." But she did come back before the end of that episode and she took it out of the trash and
Yeah.
put it in the dishwasher. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
dishwasher, not the washing machine. But
Yeah, not washing
remember,
machine. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
that was early on where we
Right.
where we didn't know, and we got into that stigma, and it
Right.
was fear, and that's fine. Everybody has a right to fear, but as we learn more about it, hopefully some of those fears will diminish. And just to kind of bring it home, think about all the restaurants we have eaten out and all the utensils we have eaten from, and we have not gotten infected with HIV. So there it is.
No, we
There.
haven't.
I
But
like.
I'm not gonna lie now. In the beginning, back in the days, I would ask for plastic silverware. I wanted the plastic that was in the
Pla-
bag. Yeah, I
Yeah, the
wanted
plastic
that. That's
platter.
what I requested from restaurants because I was a Red Lobster lover back then, really Red Lobster lover. So I would request, that I have the plastic ware. I didn't want the. Mm-mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that's fine, but again, just don't let fear overrun your thoughts and stop you from living. Because again, we have eaten at so many restaurants over the years, and we're okay. Uh,
It could have called
speak
salmonella, not necessarily HIV. It could have been salmonella or something else.
well, anything hepatitis lasts longer on surfaces than an HIV virus does.
Really?
Wow, really? Oh, I didn't even
Even
know that.
after you, even after you wipe it down.
Really? See, I just had that test done, the HIV, hepatitis, all that good stuff, and they were talking about the booster. And I'm like, I thought I did the hepatitis. And he said, well, you don't have to do it again because you still have the antibodies and all that. I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
cool beans.
Okay.
But I didn't know it lasted that long in the body. That's like,
Even
interesting.
with Clorox wipes, you still might,
You,
scoop it up. Because it's the different ones. You had the A, B, and the C. So A and B is blood, C is liver. So that's another show we'll have to do
yeah,
later
Yeah.
on. Uh,
yeah.
but now, okay, so Shakara, you had some more stats as well, like coming out of my hometown of Memphis.
Yes, I just seen that. Let's see. Between the ages of 15 and 24 in the city of Memphis, they are among 5 times higher average of new cases in the country. That's just in Memphis. And I'm like, wait a minute, between the ages of 15 and 24, that's a lot. But just think about it. Kids gonna do what they do. Kids having a good old time.
Well,
Um,
like Mr. Anthony was saying earlier, that Bible Belt.
that Bible Belt.
The Bible Belt, you know what I'm saying, right, Mr. Kane? You were saying from what,
Yeah.
DC to
All the way down from DC,
Mhm.
um, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, all Texas, all down through that way, that Bible Belt. And
wow.
so it's heavily related to religion,
Hmm.
and
Mhm.
they just don't want to speak about sex and taboo issues. Yeah.
One day we gonna stop being ignorant and make this a thing because you have to. Just talking,
Girl, call
speaking.
me when that happened. Call. Make sure you text me when that happens, girl. Cause woo that's gonna be.
They done being ignorant today.
I probably won't even be here when they get to that point of they're no longer being ignorant. I would be on go on to be with the higher power wherever it is I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been waiting for that moment. You know.
Look, I'll probably be getting ready to walk out the door to that moment when it's
Because I can just not see. But then I can see how, and I'm not trying to make it racial, I'm just giving my opinion, how white people have a different, and I say that because being from Memphis, growing up in Memphis, we watched Jerry Lee Lewis and, in a different entertainers married their second cousin, and things of that nature. So I could see that probably going on because they probably just passing it around in that little community. And they probably don't go to doctor because they probably don't have no insurance. I'm just saying, and this is just my opinion. You know what I mean? I mean, I could be wrong, but they have a different way of, it's even like now with the president, he's trying everything he can to try to make it okay for grown men to be with little girls. Now, don't get me wrong. That's been going on since the beginning of time.
yeah.
It's nothing new. They've been doing that for a very long time. 13-year-olds, getting married way back in the yeehaw days, probably wasn't that far back, but, back in the day. So, yeah, I can see that happening in their community because they be in denial and and the religion thing is just really crazy with them. And, yeah, I can see that happening.
Rabbit hole of thoughts.
Yeah, it's like they just don't want to admit to nothing when they're wrong. They really, really don't. But like I said, that's
Look,
what.
that's 10 other shows.
Yeah, that's 10 other shows. Cause wow, boy, look how I can woo wee. So HIV and AIDS HIV has come a long way from the beginning, but we still have to have precautionary measures. That's just the bottom line, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So the government, and you mentioned the president, and we ain't gonna get on that, but so the cuts that has happened to public health and nationwide international wide programs to help fight some of these conditions, the funding has been cut or eliminated. So I did pull up, and so they expect many people to die from HIV because of the cuts that America has caused. And so George Bush started PEPFAR, that was the Presidential Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief in 2003. So the funding has been cut. And that was keeping a lot of people alive, especially those poor countries in the world, mainly a lot of African and India countries. So the HIV deaths, they are afraid will start to expand again, starting rising again. So upon that, if people can get into treatment, into care, the sooner the better. Then once you become viral suppressed, meaning your viral load. So the viral load is the amount of virus in the body. So if your viral load becomes suppressed and you become undetectable with testing, doesn't mean it's gone. It just means the test saying is very small amounts is undetectable. So undetectable equals untransmittable. So if you are viral suppressed and undetectable, you cannot pass HIV. That's what the research says.
Okay.
So if we can get people into treatment earlier and stay on treatment and compliance, we could possibly eliminate HIV numbers down much, much smaller than what we have.
So I guess it would be like test. Go get tested. Go get tested. You know what I'm saying? Everybody need to go get tested if you're sexually active.
It's tested and stay on your therapies if you're positive.
And stay on therapies.
Yeah.
Wow.
So could you explain, do you have more details about PrEP? Isn't that what it's called? Hold on, I wrote it down.
That's it.
How does that work? I know you see the commercials about it, and it's for people who are not HIV positive. So yeah, explain how that works.
Yeah, so PrEP is kind of similar to like birth control pills for women. So birth control pills, you take those to prevent pregnancy. That's the
Mhm.
ideal concept of PrEP. If you're at a high risk or you have a partner who's positive, then you can take PrEP. That adds another layer of protection from you getting infected with HIV. So it's a one pill a day, but again, you have to take it the way it's prescribed, and you have to follow up every 3 months, I think, with testing just to make sure that the medicine is working and you did not get infected. Because if you get infected at some point in that time that you're on PrEP, they have to stop that medicine and put you on another medicine.
Mhm.
Oh, woo.
Mhm. So I was going to ask about having relationships with a person who is not positive. How does that look? I know that I've seen plenty of videos and things where it is possible, and they have happy relationships, healthy relationships where the partner never gets it. But that's another show. That would be interesting. But how does that work? What type of precautions do they take that we probably take for granted? People who are not HIV positive or any other type of STI. Um, what is your advice to those people? Like, how does that work?
I say you love who you love and you learn how to maneuver with whatever obstacles you have to deal with.
Mm,
They have precautions out here now, like we know about PrEP. We
mm,
know about U equals U. So
mm,
those are, and condoms. So those are layers to protect oneself. But it's important to note, just because you have sex with someone who is positive or have an STI, that does not automatically mean that you will get it. The
mm,
chances of you getting it or an infection
mhm,
or STI are greater because we know it's there.
mhm,
However, that does not automatically mean that you will get it. So you have to
mhm,
be creative. You have to be creative in your love life, your sex life. I mean, there are toys, there's mutual masturbation, there
mhm.
is condoms. People do various things.
There's
So
Mm.
celibacy. You could be
you gotta be creative.
celibate.
That is true. And
I'm just saying. You know what I mean? And you could just be
I mean, that's the best
celibate.
prevention.
And even though you choose to be celibate, you still get tested every year when you go for your physical, just in case. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. That's yeah.
And
Celibate.
so
Hey.
so you make a good point. Really, you don't. If you're celibate, you don't really have to test as regular. But I mean, if that makes someone feel comfortable, then that's fine. But they are have tried over the years to try to make HIV testing a standard part of care or testing at your doctor. So when you go to your doctor, they do a CBC, complete blood count.
Hmm.
HIV is not necessarily included in that, nor
Right,
syphilis.
right.
So sometimes the insurance may or may not pay for it. But
Hmm.
if you want those tests, you can request it from your doctor, and they can add that test on to the lab
Exactly.
request. Or
Mhm,
if your doctor suspects
Right.
that's what it is, then they will do the test. But it's not necessarily a random, I mean, everyday encounter of testing at your doctor's office, because you hear people say that, and that's important to know because I work with syphilis as well, and syphilis is known as the silent killer. And we'll have to do another show on syphilis,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
the numbers are high. The numbers are crazy. The infection rate is crazy. It can pass the mother to child, and it also can cause further complications in your life that's irreversible, and it can cause death and insanity. So when y'all ready to do the syphilis one, look
mhm,
me up.
Oh well, we need to do we need to do that one next Sunday. We need to because we need to get this information out here because see syphilis. I mean, when I was young, I mean, we heard about that. I thought that was just only Al Capone and
mhm.
uh Scott Joplin and people back then died from syphilis. I thought syphilis was just gone. You know what I'm saying? So you're saying that syphilis is very much active in today's society?
Absolutely, yes. And
Oh,
that being said, because one has HIV, you're susceptible or more vulnerable to syphilis.
but
So it's
syphilis
called
is
a
also a
dual.
blood disease, right?
Yes, so it's called the dual diagnosis. I've had clients who have more than just syphilis. I've had some diagnosed with herpes, HIV, HSV, you name it, all in one, chlamydia and gonorrhea. They had a heck of a good time. So it just is
Yeah,
what it is. But the
man.
good thing about syphilis is treatable and curable. HIV is not curable, it's just treatable. And the
Oh,
Mm,
syphilis treatment is no charge at your local health departments for the most part across the nation.
really?
ooh,
Yeah, your
Lord, have
HIV treatments are very, very expensive. You have to see a specialist, and
Mm,
that specialist will have to make the diagnosis and determination of what therapies to start. So, what they do is they measure the amount of virus in your body, they take a
mhm,
lot of blood, and they measure or test for the particular strand, the genotype, and
mm.
then they look to see what therapy works best for that particular strand you might have been encountered with.
So there's multiple strands of HIV.
Absolutely, there is. And also note, you can get infected with HIV more than once. So just because you got it, that don't mean that you can't get it again. So just keep that in mind.
what about
Wait a
syphilis? Can
minute.
you get that more than one time?
Yes, yes. But
So,
remember, syphilis is curable.
Yeah,
so
celibacy is even more curable. Because in
um,
today's society, baby, the best way is celibacy. I'm just saying. I'm just
so
putting it
wait a
out there.
minute. I could be diagnosed with HIV 1, and 30 years later, I can go get HIV 3.
You get HIV too.
I was just trying to skip over one.
No, you got
Really?
it going audible.
You
One,
going
two,
on?
three, like that. Yeah.
That is so crazy. Look, I'm thinking about
Wow.
all these movies. Like one of my favorite movies was Gia,
Mhm,
about the model in the
mhm,
80s who contracted AIDS. I think she got hers from drug use. But
mhm.
I'm like, she could be still living, and she probably had about 3 different AIDS because she was having a good time. Like, and then one of my favorite shows that everybody was like, why do you watch that show so much? Pose. Oh my God, I love that show.
Mm.
I
I
love
love
that
that.
show.
But
You
I'm
got
just sitting here talking about syphilis. Oh my God. I'll be 61 on the 5th. And we talked about syphilis when I was in the 5th grade. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so you mean to tell me that's
it's still out
still
here.
relevant? Oh
Yeah,
my God. So
yeah.
now, so now is that relevant? Oh, we lost him?
We lost him. Let's see if he come
Oh, we
back.
lost him. Girl, I'm thinking about
Um,
syphilis now because I'm like, is that just the old people? You know what I'm saying?
Look, you had to. Yeah, we got to do this syphilis show. I got to do some digging. Like,
Oh
when
yeah,
was
we got to
syphilis?
because girl, I'm telling you, when
I
I
thought that
first
was
learned
like polio, and it ran out.
about but see, polio would come back because they're cutting the vaccines, so
That's no
they're
show.
gonna
Mm-mm.
experience that. So yeah, we got plenty more shows to do. So I'm just trying to figure out. I was in the 5th grade when we learned about gonorrhea and syphilis. Okay, so then it kind of kind of elevated up to chlamydia. And I was like, oh shit, that's a whole nother whatever. And then, it went on to, HIV, AIDS, and all that.
Mhm.
But now we back to syphilis?
That is crazy.
Girl.
That's crazy.
Girl. See the things girl, celibacy. Celibate. Look, and I am one of those ones that every year when I go for a full physical, I want a HIV, AIDS, gonorrhea, chlamydia, all that, and knowing I'm celibate. But I just
Look,
believe that.
somewhere lay dormant. Up there he go. He's coming back.
Oh, he came back. Okay. I always felt like it could lie dormant, you know what I'm saying, for 10 or
Mhm.
15 years. You know what I
Sorry
mean?
about that. My phone went out.
Yeah, that's okay. We understand. And I'm thinking like, okay, so I get tested every year because I was just in my mind, I was thinking that okay, this junk can lie dormant. I may have gotten this back in 2015 or 2005, and I'm bringing it forward with me. So because my doctor be like, Miss Hill, you're not even. I'm like, that's okay. We want to get that test.
You want to make sure.
We want to make sure.
I just got mine. And I say, thank God I'm married and my husband is scared of another expensive woman, and the fact that I'm crazy. So I ain't good.
So I'm thinking like syphilis, man. Syphilis? Oh my God. Girl,
Look,
it's not, it's syphilis. Is that like an old people disease? Oh, wait a minute. He having internet.
yeah, internet issue.
Yeah,
We
he's
might have to come back on it. Yeah, we're gonna have to reschedule on this simple syphilis one.
yeah, because we got to talk about that syphilis, baby. Because, like I'm saying, I was in the fifth grade when I learned about syphilis. But, like I said, it was from Al Capone and
Yeah,
the musician Scott Joplin. They all died from syphilis, like in the 20s and the 30s. You see what
yeah,
I'm saying? And
yeah,
now here we are in 2025 talking about syphilis.
man. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that one.
There
But
is no life after 60. I take that back. At first, I was excited because I was going to say, okay, there was life after
there is life
60.
after 60.
You know, there's
You
like,
gotta
no,
be careful.
it's not. No, 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 no. Because
Still
see,
gotta use condoms.
I know, and like Mr. Cain was saying, condoms, but see, condoms bust. Come
Too,
on.
they do. I know that's how my first one got here. Um, yes, but it's better than nothing.
Is it?
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
not just
really?
go in there raw dogging and think you ain't gonna get
No,
nothing.
celibacy. Two steps up, baby, celibate. Ooh, woo, celibate, 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 celibate. Don't be hot to trot out here in the world, America. Do not be hot to trot out here in this world because this stuff is still and when you have people like in your lower poverty areas or like what the regime is getting ready to do, cut so much, Medicaid and cut out different, public health facilities and people can't go get tested and can't get treated. Y'all better keep y'all legs closed. That's all I'm saying.
Find you
We're out here
somebody.
to get just a baby. Babies, that ain't nothing. I'd rather get the baby than to get all that other. You see what I'm saying?
Look,
Sure.
quit hoeing and get you one and have a good time and stay.
Yeah, but he'll be the one that's gonna bring it to you and ruin your life.
Don't say that.
Okay, all right. I won't say it for some people. He would be the one. You know what I'm saying? That would probably. But now
But look, you can't just say
down
because
low,
there's some
brother.
she's out there. It's some she's out there.
Yeah, it is. It's some.
So it ain't just men. Yo, you be talking about. Look, you can't just be
Yeah,
hard on.
you're right.
We
It's some
talk on
skeezers
them.
and geezers out there. You're right. But the down low brothers are the issues. They really are. And they have been for a while. Them DL brothers, I'm
Yeah.
telling you now. Because they trying to have a marriage and a whole family over here. And then you sleep around with Pete and Carrie and them over here. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. And that's fine. If that's how you want to live your life. But you
But
got
let
to
me
be
know,
honest.
okay? Because I don't want to be Janet Jackson in what's that movie for Color Girls.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
so yeah, let me know. Cause you
You
just
know.
yeah, let
That's
me
all
know.
I'm saying. That's all I'm saying
Oh,
is
Mr. Anthony came back. Hold
you back.
on. Let's
Okay.
see. Let's see who come
I'm
back.
trying. Internet.
Yeah, we got. That's okay. We already said we're gonna schedule more shows so we can talk more about the syphilis. Cause see, I done tripped out with that. Cause I'm thinking like that shit went out in the 20s and 30s. I thought it was gone. You know what I'm saying? I did not know that syphilis was still relevant in today's life.
So yeah, we
Oh,
definitely gonna have to
absolutely.
have
But
you
just
back.
remember this with syphilis. But remember with syphilis, you'll always test positive.
What? We both looking like what? You'll always test positive with syphilis?
That
Oh, okay. Okay, I hear you.
You
Okay.
want freeze up
doesn't
on that
mean
one.
you have it again. You just had it built up the.
Oh. Oh, wow. Snap. I need to add that to the list when I have my physical. When I have my physical, that need to be added to the list. You know what I'm saying? Syphilis. You know what I'm saying? Syphilis. They could be lying dormant from 1995. Oh, Lord.
I came with you.
You all right? Cause you'd have had data test.
They done test me for everything,
right.
from A to U. Yep, from A to Z. I've been tested all in between.
Yeah, you
And
good.
like I said, celibate. I'm celibate. It
Yeah.
has been for years, so I'm okay with that. You know,
God bless you.
I know, but you married, so you don't have no choice but to. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Mr. Anthony Cain. I have to say, this is my cousin, everyone, from Detroit, Michigan. And yes, he is my cousin, and we have been a family all our life. But we're definitely going to have to bring him back,
Yes.
and we're going
teach
to
us how
gather
to
the
get our shit.
questions. Yeah, we're gonna gather the questions from the public, because they'll go in. Once the show is published, they'll go in and be asking questions. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely have to come back, to be able to answer the questions that we're gonna get from the public, and we may even bring some of those in with us on the next show. But we got to go deep into this, because see, everybody put the hype on the HIV, and they be forgetting about the gonorrhea and the syphilis. You see what I'm saying?
You know, open up a mouth.
We definitely got to highlight all that. Oh my God.
But this was really good. This was really good. It was very informative. I learned some things, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I'd say thank you, Miss. Thank you. We appreciate you. You have gotten us together.
More than you know. And I'm thinking next Sunday, 6:00, we can come back with the continuation. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we're gonna have some questions once we release the recording. So we want to be able to answer those questions. So if everybody's available next Sunday at 5 or 6 o'clock, let's do that, because I definitely want to dive in on the syphilis thing, because see, that tricked me. I've been tricked. I'm feeling some type of way. Like I said,
you're all right, because
I'm good, but we learned about syphilis in the 5th grade. Okay, gonorrhea and syphilis we learned about in the 5th grade. And then it went to, like, as junior high and high in Memphis, it went to chlamydia. And then from there, it jumped to HIV and AIDS. But now it's man, I'm just thrown.
All you can say is woo.
Ooh, all I can say is, "Ooh, Lord have mercy. Thank you, Jesus. I'm not active anymore." All right, Mr. Anthony Cain from Detroit, Michigan. It was a pleasure having you. I will reach out to you, and we're going to make plans to do this next week, and probably the following week after that, because we're going to have questions. We're going to have a lot of people that are going to jump on this one once we release it. So,
let's look forward to it.
Let's look for you. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming. Enjoy the rest of your work week, and we'll talk. We'll definitely talk, because we got to talk. We definitely got to talk. Good night, everybody. All right. Good night, everybody, and good night, world. And the only thing that I can say to the public is test, and just try not to have sex.
Get off this phone. Have a good night, y'all.
Bye.
Hey, bro, we on the radio.